Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel where I give you tips and tricks on pottery. In this video, I'm going to be throwing a large bowl and I'm going to walk you through the process that I use to make them. So I'm starting out with about 8 pounds of clay here. I'm patting it down so it's nice and secure. And this pot was actually made from some really hard clay that was almost bad. So I had to stand up and center it. And I'm using my fist to bring it down here. I like to use my fist on bigger pots because it takes the relief off my hand, or it takes the pressure off my hand, as I should say. And I'm taking it out with my knuckle, and then at the very end, I'll start using my fingers to finish out the bottom. And then I like to go back to the middle and compress. It just helps with the integrity of the pot. And I'm using my knuckle to take it out a little bit more, checking the depth here. And this pot was a little thick, so I went ahead and went back again with my fingers to take it out a little bit more. So the next step is the pulls. On the pulls, I'm using my fingers on the outside and I'm using my hand on the inside to keep it steady. The hand on the inside does not go in or out on these first few pulls. It's just keeping nice and steady. And so as you can see here, I'm pushing in the clay on my outside hand, and then I'm taking it up and I'm leaving room at the rim because you don't want your rim to be too thin when you expand it out, so I leave some thickness. You can always go back and thin out the rim more if you need. So on this last pull here, you can see I'm expanding it out some more, and the rim is nice and thick so that whenever I am expanding this last bit here, it's not paper thin. It's harder to make a rim thicker instead of thinner, so you want to make sure you have that. I really want to emphasize that. So on this move right here, I was just cleaning up with a metal rib, and I'm splitting the rim on this bowl with a hole puncher. You can actually use anything really, as long as it has a good point. It could be wooden as well, and then I like to clean it up with a sponge. Now on these bowls, I like to put a little swirl, so in this next clip I am doing that. I like to start with not a lot of pressure, but a firm amount of pressure, and then I let off at the end of the swirl so it looks like it just goes into the pot. So after a day, I let it dry, and then once it's leather hard, I'm ready to trim. And I'm using a Mud Tools tool here. It's a great multi-use tool, and as you can see, I'm taking down the outside of the bowl with the curved end, and then I'm going to go into the foot here with the flat edge, and I'm going to establish my foot. So here you can see I'm doing that, and you can adjust as needed, and I like to rock it back and forth. And then once I take it in with a flat edge, I like to go back and round out the sidewall. Once I'm finished trimming, I like to hit it with a sponge just to get it nice and smooth. If you have grog in your clay, you don't want to do this too much, as you'll bring out the grog. And afterwards, I hit it with my finger just to smooth it out a little bit more. Finally, I add my stamp, and then I put a bat underneath it, and I flip it onto that bat, and I go ahead and I polish up the rim. Again, you don't want to use too much sponge on grogged clay, which is usually what stoneware has in it. And there we go. There's the finished bowl. Now it's onto the drying process. It'll dry about a week, and then it'll go into the kiln.